What up, y'all? It's Young Rick. Welcome to Westside Level, where your mixing and mastering dreams come true. And yes, we have finally made it. Today, we're going to get into some master vocal processing. All right, what is master vocal? Before we can even get into that, we have to explain the session. So, we have on the right side of our session, from track 10 all the way to 23, we have 13 tracks. One is the beat, the rest are vocals. So we have 12 vocals. All of these are being condensed down into these purple tracks. So we condensed all 12 of these vocals now down to 2 vocals. So we have lead vocals and background vocals. That's what all of this purple section of the mix is. So we went from the green section of our mix to the purple section of our mix, and now we condensed the our 2 tracks, our insert 8, insert 9, and we even made a parallel with insert 7, and we all routed that now and condensed that down to one master vocal track, which is right here in our blue section. On insert 2, we have the beat, and on insert 3, we have the master vocal. All right, so before we get into anything, let's just take note of where the beat is peaking at. So I'm going to go ahead and play the session.
Bricks on the keys and the pick. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off.
All right, after taking a good look at the beat and the vocal, I could see that our beat is peaking around 15 decimals, and on our vocals, we are a little bit under that. So what's going to be my first move when I'm processing our master vocal? The first thing I'm going to do with this master vocal is I'm just going to level it out. I'm gonna drop it down by 1 decimal, and then I'm going to see if I can hear everything in the mix clearly. If I can hear the sub of the beat, if I can hear the kick drum very clearly, if I can hear the snare clearly, and if I can hear the vocal clearly. And if anything is being buried or anything, I'm going to if the vocal is being buried, I'm going to drive it up all the way up to 1 decimal. But if it fits properly, then I'm going to keep it ducked down at this 1 decimal cut of level. So
don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
I think I like where it's sitting just with that 1 decimal cut. What's gonna be my first move from here now that I've knocked it down? Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this limiter. And what this limiter is going to do for me is just lock it in place. So I see that our vocal was peaking around a little bit over 18 decimals. So the way I'm going to set my limiter is I'm just going to set the threshold and the ceiling at 17 decimals. That gives my vocal 1 more decimal of headroom before this limiter starts doing any gain reduction.
I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Ray, drop a beat, I'm finna shit.
Perfect. So as we can see, setting our limiter to 17 decibels has now gotten it to where we're getting 1.5 decimals of gain reduction. Right now, we have our beat peaking at 15 decimals. So our beat is got a little bit, it has 2 decimals of headroom over our vocal right now. And that's where everything is sitting, completely leveled. Now that we have the level and the dynamics handled of our beat, what I like to do to finish of our beat, we have the level and dynamics handled with our vocal. What I like to do after that is add our reverb. Now, why is reverb coming at the end of our chain and not sometime earlier in our chain? Why is it going on the master vocal? The reason I put it on the master vocal at the end of our chain is because had I put this reverb on earlier in our chain, it would have been affected by any compressor, any EQ, any saturator, or anything that we put on after the reverb. And I like to just add the reverb as it is, set it the way I want it, and nothing else to change about it. So to get that result, I went ahead and added my reverb at the very end of my chain on my master vocal. Now that that has been explained, let's go ahead and get into the reverb. And our weapon of choice today is going to be our fruity reverb. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at this knob I'm going to want to deal with on this timing section is our delay knob. What this delay knob represents is pre-delay. And what pre-delay is going to determine is how fast the reverb actually kicks in. The reverb effect actually kicks in. Why this is why this can be beneficial is because if we give a little bit of pre-delay to our reverb, then the vocal becomes a lot more clearer because you get a little bit of that dry vocal before the reverb kind of muddies it up. And I'll give you a full-blown example of what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to start off by doing is playing it with just the reverb on, and then I'm gonna add the pre-delay. Here's our vocal with the reverb. Nothing.
Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of pre-delay. Give it about, let's see how 88 milliseconds sounds, and then tell me if the vocal just sounds clearer to you.
Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Don't throw that.
Okay, perfect. From my ears, that pre-delay gave a lot more clarity to the vocal, so I'm going to leave it set right there. What's our next parameter when we're dealing with reverb? Well, we can adjust the size of our reverb. The way I interpret the size is the larger the reverb, the further away your vocal sounds. The smaller the reverb, the closer your vocal sounds. And I'll go ahead and play with the size real quick so you can hear what that sounds like and what I'm talking about.
Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a spot in the sweet spot in the middle of being too far and too close and get the size of our reverb just right.
Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in these bins acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the.
All right about in the middle right there, that sounds perfect to me. The next section we're going to look at is this diffusion section. And what this diffusion knob kind of represents is how many reflections are being bounced off the walls in our reverb. And there, like I said, there's a visual right here so you can see. As you see, the less diffusion I have in my reverb, the less walls that the room has. But the more diffusion, the more reflections are allowed to go off. So I'm gonna play with this diffusion knob and just find a color that I like.
Don't throw that pass, passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this.
Perfect. Right around there sounds great. So I'm done with this timing section. I'm not going to adjust the speed and the mod because these are parameters that personally I don't feel like are necessary for at least the vocals. So I'm not going to really address those in this tutorial. I'm just going to go ahead and now move over to the I would like to refer to this as more so the color section of our reverb, where we can adjust the dampness and the decay. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm gonna do is adjust the dampness, and what the dampness of our reverb is going to determine is how much reverb is in there, and you're going to be able to hear that as soon as I adjust the knob. So let's go ahead and do that.
Bricks on the keys and the kick. Don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
Perfect. So that is this. I found a sweet spot right there in the middle. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave my dampness. In the last control I'm going to address in this section of our reverb is this decay section right here. And what the decay of our reverb is going to determine is how long our reverb is. So what I'm going to try to do when I'm dealing with decay is I'm going to try to make it short enough to match with the tempo of our song. As we can see, this is a very fast song. It's at 200 beats per minute. So I'm already going to start in a short range and then go from there. Let's hear how that sounds. So, well, as a matter of fact, let's start at medium. All right, let's go.
Don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Bricks on the keys and the kick. Don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce.
All right, I think right about there sounds great. And one thing I want to point out about the decay of a reverb is that, like, you heard how bad it sounded when it was very long. Long reverbs would be okay in songs where the tempo is a lot slower, but in fast songs, it can really harm the groove. So you really want to get the decay right. You notice that when I shortened the decay of our reverb, it just the reverb started sounding a lot more professional. Now the last thing I'm going to address with our reverb is going to go ahead and be this wet knob. What this wet knob is, it's the reverb itself. So if I put this wet knob all the way to 0, we'll have no reverb and it'll just be a dry vocal. Let's hear how that sounds.
I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick horse. I'm in this Benz.
And you already heard how it sounded when we had it a little bit wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wet knob and I'm going to drive it up until I find the perfect amount of reverb for my vocal. Now, when setting a reverb for a rap vocal, my taste and my rule of thumb is that I like it to be felt, not heard. Sometimes I won't even put reverb on a rap vocal and I'll just let the room reverb work. But in terms of this song, I felt reverb would have added something to the mix. So I definitely wanted to add reverb. So the technique here is to add reverb until it's felt, not really heard. I'm not trying to hear the reverb as much as I'm trying to feel it. And you'll hear what I'm talking about once I set the reverb. Let's go ahead and do that.
Bricks on the keys and the kick. Don't throw that passes getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
Bricks on the keys and I'm kicking.
Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in.
All right, so right about there, it feels like there's no reverb on the vocal, but there actually is reverb on the vocal. If I mute the reverb, you'll hear the difference clearly. Let me go ahead and do that for you real quick.
Bricks on the keys. Bricks on the keys and I'm kicking. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off.
And that's exactly what I talk about. I want my reverb to be felt, not heard. You notice how when we engage the reverb, it didn't get in the way of our mix or distract us from any of the other instruments, but also when we disengaged our reverb, it felt like something was missing. That's the type of feeling you want to give your client when you're delivering a mix to them. All right, so with that being said, that's our reverb completely set. Before we move on, I'm going to give it an official A and B. So
bricks on the keys and I'm kicking. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog.
Here's with our reverb.
Bricks on the keys and I'm kicking. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this.
And then we're just gonna go ahead and punch in and out with our effect.
Bricks on the keys and I'm kicking. Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk. Big dog, don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told Rick, drop a beat, I'm finna shit talk.
Master vocal, that's the finished processing. We just added a limiter and we did some reverb. Now that the master vocal and the beat is processed completely like how we want it, I'm going to now take the beat, which is insert 2, and the master vocal, which is insert 3, and I'm gonna route it now to insert 1. And all of this in the session, now everything in the session is going to be routed to insert 1. And at this time, everything is routed to insert 1, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to unloop the song, and I'm going to now hit my record button. Hold on, let me make sure my record button is ready. All right, so now with my insert 1 armed as record, I'm going to now go to my playlist, hit my record button, and I'm going to press play. What that's going to do is record my whole session as I get an opportunity to listen to it. And as this is recording, if you hear any imperfections, you can now stop the session and go back and fix that. Now we're going to go ahead and freeze our insert 1 as a master channel, and once that channel is frozen as one track, we'll be able to do some mix bus processing to it. So I'm going to press play, listen through the song, and let it freeze.
Had to leave niggas behind, they told behind bars. Same niggas doing skits with a mic cord. Pull a nigga cat back like a mic cord. Nigga know he can't see me, so why stand? Don't throw that pass, it's getting picked off. I ain't tryna buy a deuce with the brick cost. I'm in this Benz acting up, I know they pissed off. I told.
So now that I let that run through, I heard no errors in the song, and now I have our master our complete master right here, print it out, and we can completely we can unarm our track now. So because we're not recording no more, we can go back to compact, and we can now completely turn off all of our plugins that we put on our buses, and we can now route this track that we just printed to bus number 1. Where you at? All right. We have everything playing. Oh, I'm sorry. So as you can see, we have everything playing out of insert 1 with just our master bus session. So now in our next tutorial, we can get into some mixed bus processing. Now what the next tutorial is going to be is not going to be mastering, it's going to be mixed bus processing. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, if it helped you out, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe. I love y'all comments. Keep commenting, keep asking questions, keep popping y'all shit. I love it. Y'all be smooth. Gone.
Right.